What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Dillian, the body snatcher Whyte. Dillian Whyte is still bitter about Deontay Wilder not fighting him. Wow. Dillian Whyte appears to be still resentful about not getting a title shot when Deontay Wilder held the WBC heavyweight belt from 2015 to 2020. It's all water under the bridge now. Wilder, with 2 losses, 43 wins, 1 draw, and 42 by KO, no longer holds the WBC belt, and Whyte has been knocked out in 2 out of his last 3 fights. To say that Whyte's career is hanging by a sliver would be a fair statement. Hence, the body snatcher Whyte's decision to face American heavyweight Jermaine Franklin next on November 26th rather than a top-rated contender like Joe Joyce, Frank Sanchez, or Filip Hrgovic. He said, "I heard that Wilder still doesn't want to fight me. He is the biggest fraud in all of boxing, never mind, or all of sport, never mind boxing," Dillian Whyte said, who doesn't fight his #1 contender for 4 years and then claims he is the greatest of all time. He hasn't actually beaten anyone of note yet. He is just a cowardly con man, said Whyte. Let me counterpunch. I remember Dillian Whyte and Deontay Wilder, DW, and DW. And I remember the possibilities. I remember the negotiations. I remember the propositions. I remember the email that Deontay Wilder sent Dillian Whyte and stated that he didn't have to fight him at all. I can hold you out or wait you out or freeze you out for 2 years before giving you the opportunity. Okay? And it took some type of confidence for Deontay Wilder to say that. Why? Because he had the confidence, because he had the backing. The backing was the sanctioning body. See, if I'm Dillian Whyte, I wouldn't blame Wilder. Okay? I would blame Mauricio Sulaiman, because he's the one that protected Wilder and safeguarded him, even to the point where not only did they snatch that away from him and gave it to Tyson Fury in 2020, or should I say late 19, or after his test came up inconclusive or whatever that test was, right? They also gave his opportunity in 2019 to Dominique Brazil. So, again, none of those things had anything to do with Deontay Wilder. They had everything to do with the WBC, with Mauricio being the president of the WBC. You know, now, what he could blame Wilder for was his choice of words and the way he thought of Dillian Whyte, calling him a peasant, calling him leftovers. You know, those type of words, you know, were called at Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte wasn't respected by Deontay Wilder because Deontay Wilder, you know, looked at Dillian Whyte as not the guy that was on his level. We will probably know or never know if that's true or not. But I can say this. On both sides, Deontay Wilder fighting Robert Helenius, really not that big of a deal to me. You know what I mean? That's not a Dillian Whyte level. You know, but let's be real. If Dillian Whyte would have fought Deontay Wilder coming back to the sport, would have been a bigger fight? Of course it would have. Would it have been the same result? More than likely, probably so, I feel. Because I think a straight hand or a straight right could land faster than a left hook, especially coming from a bigger guy. Because, you know, Dillian Whyte's packed on a lot of muscle mass, something that Deontay Wilder shredded and had deemed him to be successful. So I think because of that, a tall, leaner, faster, quicker Deontay Wilder would have done that to Dillian Whyte, you know. But what would have also been the narrative? Now Deontay Wilder's fighting Tyson Fury is leftovers. But, you know, needless to say, how about this? Needless to say, though, at the end of the day, I feel that Dillian Whyte is pretty much doing the same thing that Dillian Whyte is doing the same thing by fighting Jermaine Franklin as Deontay Wilder did him. You know, so if he ain't so good, the other one ain't so bad. Why? Because who the hell is Jermaine Franklin? You know, so even in the article, it was criticized like, yo, why are you actually going forth with that type of fight when you are criticizing another fighter for not doing the same thing? You know, where he had a choice. He did have a choice to fight someone like Joe Joyce, to fight someone like Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz probably would have took that fight. He could have fought anybody else besides Jermaine Franklin. And again, we don't know who Jermaine Franklin is other than him being a possible potential opponent for last year when he was going to come to the Americas. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Dillian Whyte, still resentful of Deontay Wilder not fighting him for 5 years. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!